Last class, we did discussed about inheritance. So inheritance, why we are taking the inheritance means I need to uh, avoid the duplications in my class. And then parent class properties and methods, whatever the parent class properties and methods are there, those methods and properties should be inherited by the child class. That means the properties and methods are automatically inherited by the child class. Okay, so that is the purpose inheritance we are using. And also in different classes we are using, in that different classes same properties are repeating means the duplications we are avoiding that. For that purpose we are using the inheritance. And then super keyword. So super keyword is used to what is the purpose super keyword we are using? What is the purpose we are using the super keyword? Super keyword we can call the parent class methods and properties in your child class. We are using the super keyword. Okay. So now the virtual keyword. Today we will discuss about that virtual keyword. So what is the use of virtual keyword in your system Verilog? And then see, virtual keyword we are using for virtual classes and then virtual methods. So, methods may be functions or tasks, anything. So, we are using for both the methods and then classes also. Okay. Why we are taking the virtual keyword means see, we are not seeing physically. So, this virtual keyword is playing a key role without that means without connecting, that means without presenting we are connecting different devices. Okay, so for the virtual keyword, the virtual we are using, I want to connect multiple drivers. Okay, I want to connect multiple monitors, I want to connect I want to generate multiple sequences. Okay, for that this virtual keyword is using. Okay, so see, what is the use of virtual? Imagine manager is a base class and engineer is the child class, right? So we are working together. With the virtual keyword, we are calling the so method. Previously, inheritance we are using the methods normal method, right? Okay. So if you are using the virtual in front of your method, then that method is fully vanished and then fully overridden by the parent child class. Okay, the child class is having the methods called. See, we are having the what is this function void display we are having, right? So this function void display is the method to call function void display. This is the method, and then this method we are calling through child class handle, right? Same way we are calling this method in your child class, that is calling that is we are calling inheritance, right? Then before this we are using the virtual keyword. So then this virtual keyword is not presenting that, then virtual is runs that actual employee means what? So polymorphism and then dynamic binding, what it is saying means with the virtual keyword polymorphism what we need, inheritance is needed and then virtual method is needed. So this virtual method, it tells you which method I want to print. Okay, I want to print the method based on the object creation. So for whom you are creating the object, p equal to new you are creating or c equal to new you are creating. Okay, based on that it is creating the object. Clear? So c equal to new you are creating and then we need to assign this. See, already I have explained that class assignments. That means transaction 1 equal to transaction 2. Here transaction 1 is related to your parent class and then transaction 2 is related to your child class. Then both are equal. Then what is the display we are getting means depends upon the object creation. Okay, which method I am getting in my uh, child class. we are calling through child class only. Okay, we are calling through child class instance. What is this instance? Handle of your child class. Okay, so what you understand from the virtual class? Okay, virtual class is always runs depends upon the methods creation. Whatever the method creation, he is saying that badge type. Okay, so without virtual, it always runs on the badge type means what is your handle creating. Okay, and then what is your handle you are calling? Based on that handle, it is getting the display. But with the virtual, what it is running that it runs based on the actual employee. That means object type. Okay, remember these 2 points. Without virtual means inheritance, we are calling through handle. And then we are using the virtual method means the virtual method is depends upon that which object you are creating. For your parent you are creating the object or child you are creating the object. Based on that, it is getting the display at your output side. Okay, so that is called as bandwidth binding. Bandwidth binding means during runtime I am changing the method. Okay, so during runtime I am changing my method. So that is the purpose we are using the virtual keyword. Okay, so polymorphism is also saying the same thing. What it is saying that poly means many. Okay, and then morphism means forms. So many forms we are creating the different objects. Okay, so that is the polymorphism. And then this polymorphism, what are the things I need to require here is I need to call the method is virtual. Okay, my method should be virtual, and then inheritance anyway it obeys. That means the properties and methods in your parent class that should be over inherited by your child class. That is anyway we will get that. And another thing is what is that? Another thing we need to assign the class. That means class handles. What is the class handles? Parent class instance and then child class instance. Both should be added so equate together. Then only the polymorphism will be obeyed. So what it is saying that in your entire UVM, it is operating on that this method only. So what it is saying that by I'm creating the single class and then from that single class many objects I'm creating. Okay, so that means class packet is there. Okay, packet is the normal class. From that, I am creating multiple handles like packet 1, packet 2, packet 3. In that way, I am creating the handles, right? So same thing will be obeyed by the polymorphism. By using different handles, we can call the child class methods and then parent class methods. Okay, see this without virtual, what it is saying there. So for whom you are creating the object. You are creating the object, but without virtual, what it is depends upon that through handle, right? What is the handle here? I created the handle for what? So this is without virtual keyword. Okay. So what I am creating here? Tell me. Are you getting my point? Huh. Tell me what is your class handle. So this is my class. Okay, class parent is the so class parent, and then I'm using the property data, and then method is not virtual. Okay, dollar display we are using the data, and then what it is using here child class is also added another property id. Okay, class child extends parent. Okay, so this base class in your UVM, this base class are already inbuilt methods. Okay, that is not creating anymore. Okay, whatever the parent class is there already inbuilt in UVM, but in SP we are creating the parent class, and then what we are doing here, we are extending the different classes that is called as child classes, right? So now you can see here what we are creating the handle. These methods, both methods are without virtual, right? So then inheritance of anyways it is possible, and then so module TB. I'm creating the instance for my parent. This is parent instance. Okay. And then what is the another instance here? This is child instance. Okay. Now how, for whom you are creating the object here? Child. Okay. This is my child object. Then what is the output you are getting here? This is what P equal to C means. P equal to C means what? That is class assignments, right? So object assignments. So object assignment, this is my object assignment. Now, what you are calling the display method? Through parent class handle. Then, what I am getting the output here is whatever the data, see, remember, if you call the properties, okay, if you are calling the properties through the handle you are saying, which handle you are creating? From for you are calling by using which handle, either parent class handle or child class handle. Okay, I want to call the properties, that means values, int data, int id. These are the properties, right? So if you want to call the properties, you need to mention the handle. Okay, so which handle I am using here? Parent class handle. Now, what is the output I am getting here? Parent class data. Remember, I want to get my method. Okay, so method means what is the value you are having. That method, that means function you want to call. Okay, so that function you want to call means you need to specify the object. Okay, for whom you are creating the object, child or parent. Object creation is means what? This is the right. C equal to new. This is the object creation, right? You are creating the object for whom? Child. Okay. Then methods will be displayed by using the object. Okay. Clear? So this will be applied in your polymorphism topic. Okay. Clear? Now see what it is saying that even though your child is even though object is child, right, you are creating the object for child, but what is the output you are getting? Parent method executes. Why? Because method is not virtual. If you are creating the method is virtual, then for whom you are creating the object, that method only you are getting at the output side. Are you getting me? Okay, no problem. So I will explain so from the basics. So that is the, see, the compiler decides that what is the handle. See what it is showing, that the compiler will tells you where is my handle. So handle type is that parent. So then parent type, then we are getting the display is the parent display. This is called as static binding. Okay. Static binding means, so we are taking the normal class, normal methods without virtual keyword, that are static binding methods. Okay. With virtual methods you are taking means that is dynamic binding, because the virtual methods we are changing during runtime. Okay. So virtual methods are not present. See how we are connecting with that online person? Through virtually. Okay, we are not seeing physically. So suppose we are connecting through Zoom meeting. So how we are, the information is passing, right? Okay, information is passing through virtual methods. Okay, so virtually we are connecting, but physically we are not connecting. That, but the information is passing. So that is the reason these virtual methods and virtual classes, all these are very much important in our system Verilog. Okay. Now see memory view. What it is saying that we are using this memory for parent P. Then child object. So data equal to 100, ID equal to 10. Okay. So even though P P points to the child object. Without virtual keyword, you are using the P dot display, then uses the parent version only. Remember, okay? You are creating the object for your child, not an issue. You are calling for which handle? You are calling through child class handle or parent class handle. That is the matter only. Okay, clear? Now, with the virtual method, what it is saying there? Same code, what it is, I am taking the class parent, okay, but method is my virtual method. Then this method is completely overridden by the child. Okay, the child is completely overridden. Function void display is there now, so that function is completely overriding. That is called as dynamic binding because these virtual methods are running during compilation time, okay, or simulation time. So then, whatever the methods we are having, that will be called by during simulation time. Okay, see. Now it depends upon that. So without virtual, parent class handle is the parent child object. Then p dot display only parent class display only we are getting. With virtual, you are having the parent class handle and then through the child object, but you are getting the display is child only. The parent is completely overridden. Okay. So let's see the course for this. Just virtual methods. And then multiple child classes also, you know, right? Multiple child classes means single parent, and then we are having multiple child classes. Okay, so that means we are getting the multiple child classes output. That means class transaction is my parent class. From that, what I am extending, read transaction as well as write transaction. Okay, both read and write will be happen parallelly. So then, how many child classes are there? All the child classes will be getting at the output side through your parent class handling or child class handling. Okay, so because you are creating the object for your child. Okay, so you are creating the object for your child. See, what are the child classes here? Write transaction is the child class. Okay. So write transaction is the child class. Read transaction is the child class. Then read transaction, write transaction, and read transaction handles are write and read. Okay. Your parent class handle is transaction. And then now you are creating the objects for whom? These two are child, right? Creating the object for whom? Child, right? So this is the child. Now, how we are assigning that? Previously, parent equal to child you are assigned, right? Now, what you are assigning that? Parent is the transaction class and child is the another class. Then transaction dot print. You are calling through transaction parent class handling, but still you are getting what you are getting child class only, right? Write transaction only. I am getting the output because the print method is that we are calling the virtual method. This virtual method is overridden by this child class. Okay, so then you are getting the output is write transaction. Okay, and again transaction equal to read. That means another child. Okay, both are equal, right? So two children are equal. Okay. No, one is that means one child is having highest priority, other child is having lowest priority. It's not showing anywhere. Okay. So both are equal. So when you are assigning the parent class handle to the child class, both are the child class is obviously inherited by the parent class. Okay. How many child class are there? No problem. If you are taking that write transaction, another one is read transaction, read error transaction, write error transaction, write burst transaction, read burst transaction. In this way, you have considered that different child classes means all the child classes you are getting at the output side. Okay, so all the child classes are you are getting at the output side, and then through the parent class as well as through the child class handle or parent class handle. Okay, that is called as polymorphism. Okay, one parent you can create any number of cells. Okay. So that's what he is saying, that one base handle, multiple child objects, runtime decides that which function executes. This is true polymorphism, right? In UVM, we are one driver is there. From that one driver, I am creating multiple drivers. ABB driver, AXI driver, I2C driver, and then AHB driver, or AXI 4 line driver, AXI stream driver, DDR driver, or HBM3 driver, Ethernet driver, any type of driver. Because in SWAP, many number of IPs are there and subsystems are there. Okay, hundreds of IPs are there, and each IP we need to give the driver, right? Understood. Polymorphism and then virtual method. Virtual method is the important one. So for you are taking the virtual method, then it decides that who is getting at the output side. Obviously, child class only. If you are creating the object for the child, then you are getting the child class. Okay. So for the sorry, what I'm saying that for whom you are creating the object, based on the object, it is getting the object. If you write for parent, then you will get the parent. Okay. If you are creating the parent memory also, then normal. So you are creating the object for your parent as well as child, then polymorphism is not okay. If you, what is the polymorphism means? I want to create one base class. Then from that many child classes I want to create. Okay. So then whatever the properties and methods I am having, I will distribute to child classes. Okay. I will call through child class only. I don't need any memory for my parent class. I need memory for my child class. Parent is always thinking about that child is having food or not. Okay, he is eating or not, he don't care about it. So the child is eaten or not, he is only taking care of them, right? So same thing here also, obeying them. Multiple child classes also we are having, and then virtual methods means function as well as task, right? What is the difference here? Task I'm using. So if you are using the task in your classes, you can have the details. Okay. So same thing. And then what it is saying that parent virtual function void display, and then child function void display. So these are valid. And then what it is wrong? Sorry. In the arguments, you are assigning the two arguments here. See, virtual function void, you are using that int a, and then so int a and int b. What we are using that? So two different properties you are assigning them in your function. Okay. So here what I am using there, my virtual function void display int a, and then here also int a. So anyway, whatever the properties and methods you are using in your parent class, and also you are using the same in child class, that it is saying that virtual. Okay. And then your method is the child class method and then parent class method. Both the method names are same. That is also virtual. Okay. If you are using the different methods and different properties, then it is not obeying the virtual method. That is the wrong representation it is saying. So at that time, we are seeing the compilation error because the int b is not there in your parent class. Okay, if you want to add, you can add in the child class, and then see you are having the integer c. This code is what it is saying that previously int address is there. Okay, where is the method? Huh. This is the int data is there. Okay, and then int data and then int address, id is there. Okay, So in your child class, you can call both data and ID. It's possible because I told you we are adding that extra properties in your child class because uh, previously inheritance what I am saying that address data burst, address data and then CRC, address data and value. What it is repeating here? Address and data. Okay. So then I need to avoid that. If you want to add a new variable in your child class, you can add. Okay. So without adding the new number, you cannot call in your methods. Right? Clear? And then in arguments also, it's not calling. It's not possible to call. Okay. So that is the problem here. So this is the virtual method. So we'll run the course related to virtual method. So this is your virtual function. What is the signal represented here? Class transaction. Okay, class transaction, and then virtual function void print dollar display base transaction. Okay, so this is simple class, and then class write transaction extends from which class? Transaction class, and then function void print dollar display write transaction. Okay, and then what is the other out? What is the other child? Class read transaction extends from read transaction, function void print read transaction. Then I'm created the handles for my three classes. Okay, parent class, child class, and then another child class. After that, I have created the object for whom? To child classes. Okay, the child class I have created the object here, and then assigning that transaction equal to write transaction. That means P equal to C. Then I'm calling through child class handle print. Okay, for whom you are creating the object? Child, right? So then obviously you are getting the output is child. Okay, so then the print method we are calling. After that I am assigning write transaction equal to read. Okay, normal parent transaction is equals to read transaction. Then I'm calling the print method. Then I'm getting the what it called child class. Okay, just run this one. How to run this? Okay, virtual keyword already is I'm assigning tool synopsis. See, write transaction, read transaction. Okay. Now the handle is write transaction. Here write a transaction dot print. So here I am calling through child class handle. Now I am commenting this child class handle through parent class only. I am calling that. Okay. Transaction dot print. Now what is the output you are expecting? Same output because child anyways override the parent class properties and methods. Okay. So now write transaction only. Now I'm writing that this virtual keyword is I'm removing. This is the virtual keyword, right? So copy this one, comment, and I'm writing the virtual. So removing the virtual function. Okay, I'm writing the virtual function. Okay, what it is happening here? So you are calling through parent class handle and you are created that object for your child. Okay. Now I need to see my parent class output, right? So because the base transaction I need to get. See, you are getting two times you are calling. two childs are there, and then you are assigning that two prints. Okay, transaction dot print and transaction dot print. Getting me? Okay, so this is the method. So virtual you are using, for whom you are creating the object, those output only you are getting that. Okay, so whenever you are writing the virtual in front of your function, what is the output I am getting? For whom you are creating the object, based on that, it is getting the output. Now let's see, we are creating the virtual only here. Huh. Hmm. Huh. This is Hmm. Yes, alright. Because parent, that is my function is virtual, and then from that you are writing another child. Okay, so class transaction is your parent class, and then class read transaction your write transaction or read transaction your child from extending from parent right transaction. You return some method. Okay, now what you are writing. Uh, this is your read transaction or write transaction your child class. From that you are writing burst transaction. Okay. And then extends from read transaction or write transaction. Then read or write is your parent for burst transaction. Again, this burst transaction will overriding this child class methods. Okay. And then see, have you seen that yesterday multiple classes? Class A, and then class B is extends from A, and then class C. Huh, in method. See, in second also we need to write the virtual. Without you are writing the virtual for method for your second parent, then the child is not overridden. Inheritance concept is obeyed then. And then inheritance concept is obeyed means depends upon the handle you are calling. Based on that handle only you are getting the output. Okay, clear? Now same thing. I want to comment this. What is that? What is that next class? Uh, this is virtual function and then Ethernet packet and then PCI packet. See, this is the packet. Okay, same thing here also. Let's see for this one. Okay, advanced scoreboard comparison. Class packet is the class and then virtual function void compare dollar display generic compare and then class ethernet packet extends from packet and function void compare. Okay, so dollar display ethernet packet and then class PCI packet extends from either ethernet packet, right? So this is your ETH ETH packet. So each packet is the uh, base class for your PCA packet. Okay, I'm changing here. Now here also I'm writing the method called virtual. Just give me a second. Tell me. So same thing I'm copying here. Okay, same thing I'm copying and pasted here. So I will be commenting this one and here each package I'm having. Okay, so clear? Now this is the parent for this class and this is the parent for this class. PCI Ethernet packet, PCI packet is the child class and then parent is Ethernet packet. That means what is your child class here? Ethernet packet. Okay? Sorry, PCI packet. And then parent for the Ethernet packet. Okay? So then that parent is packet. Okay? So then I am creating the object here. Okay, this ethernet packet PCI packet I am writing normal function, and here what I am writing ethernet packet I am writing that virtual function. So normal function I am commenting that, so virtual I am taking. Okay, clear up to this, right? So this is my parent, and this is your child, and this is your grandchild. Okay. Now, what is the handle here? Packet, Ethernet packet EP, and PCI packet EP. So then, how you are assigning that? You are assigning the handle. Sorry. Now I am using the one memory because both are parents. Only one child. Okay, grandchild I'm creating the memory for that, object for that. Okay, then packet EP, so EP is not there, right? EP is there. Then packet equal to, what is the handle I want to assign here? PP, right?
PP is
PP is already there. Okay.
coming.
Hmm. So EP, and then but here the memory is not there. Okay, let's see.
Coming.
Ah, error will come, and then just I want to check that. Okay, what is the output we are getting? Now packet dot compare. Okay, so packet dot compare, because we are taking the method is compare. Okay, so save and run.
So we are not assigning any entity.
Which one?
For EP, we are not assigning any entity.
Memory is not assigned. Now what we need, what we are getting the output, see, null object
Null
access.
object.
So for this we are not assigned any memory. Now what is the handle we need to assign here?
Null.
Parent is that, EP is the parent, right? EP is the parent, and then child is PP. Okay, clear? Child is PP. And then packet is the parent and PP is the child. Okay,
That's the
so then here, yeah, grandchild only the object, right? So now the child class only we are getting the output. Okay, understood, right? Because null object access we are getting. Why? Because EP handle ethernet packet I am not created any memory for that, because that is a parent class. Okay, now these two are overridden, and I need to get the child class property, that is PCI packet output. Both the outputs I need to get the PCI packet output. So still null object access. If you create the memory for this, what is happening? We are assigning that packet equal to PP, and then packet equal to PP. Hmm. See, now parent is the packet. Okay, so we are assigning the EP. So EP is the Ethernet packet is the parent, but grandparent is what? Packet, right? So that is the reason we are getting the two outputs. All the outputs are overridden by the PCA packet.
We should create EP memory also.
Ah,
Then we should assign.
then only we are getting that. if you are not creating the child class memory, then we are getting the null object access. And handles also we are equating. See, what is the output I am getting here? Packet dot compare PCI output only, because the child is grandchild is the topmost class, that is only overridden the all the parent class properties and methods. Okay.
Like without writing it also, we can execute two sides also.
Just give me a minute. Now you have seen that multiple outputs, right? Okay, multiple outputs. Seeing here, multiple childs also there. Okay, so for that also we are having the where we are creating the memory, that properties and methods only we are getting at the output side, right? Understood? Okay. So here my parent class is the packet. Okay. So then child class is that Ethernet packet. Okay. So this is my parent class, and this is your child class. Okay. Parent class is packet, and Ethernet packet is the child class. And then another parent is what? Ethernet packet, because PCIe packet is derived from Ethernet packet. Okay. This is child. That means PCIe packet is the grandchild, Ethernet packet is the child, and packet is the parent. Okay, clear? Now, what is your doubt? Any doubt in this class? Virtual method. Next. Okay, fine. I'm stopping here.